Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Bev, and my channel is all about makeup, skincare, and learning tips and tricks about the beauty world. As always, if you enjoyed this video today, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can be in the know about my videos every week. Today we're going to be focusing on how to clean your brushes and other beauty tools that you use. I use a little bit of brushes for contour, or maybe I use it for my bronzer or blush. I also use an eyebrow spoolie, and so we're going to jump into how I clean those. The first thing we have to do is, of course, wash our hands. Next, we'll be taking some isopropyl alcohol. This is 99% alcohol, but you can use 70% and it'll work just fine. I'm actually going to dilute the alcohol with water in a small spray bottle that I'll be showing you next, and it will work just as well. You want to be really careful with this alcohol. You don't want to apply a lot of it to your skin directly because it is such a high concentration. I bought this small spray bottle at Target for 99 cents. We'll be filling this up about halfway mark with water. And then filling it up halfway with the alcohol. After that, you can shake it up and it's ready to go. Now we'll be filling this cute mason jar up with water. You don't have to use a mason jar. You can use any kind of cup or glass in your house for this next step. You'll want to take 2 pumps of hand soap that you have. Any soap works. I use Meyer's hand soap for this, but any kind of soap that you have in the house will work. And you're going to take 1, 2, 3 pumps of that soap and let it sink to the bottom. We're going to start by cleaning this brush from Sephora. The number is 201. I use this brush for blush and also for bronzer and other powders that I have. We're going to drop the brush in the bottom here. We'll start with this side and just swirl it around a little bit, set it clean. And you can already see the contents of the mason jar, that water is getting very cloudy. You can stir this for as long as you like, and I'm going to take out and wring it a little bit. And I'm going to flip over the other edge and swirl it around as well. Throughout this process, you may want to add a little bit more of the Meyer's hand soap. You can add as little or as much of the pumps as you like. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to wring out each end and then place it on the paper towel to let it dry for a little bit before we move on to the next step. Now, some people use a brush scrubber, but I don't have one of those, so I'm going to be using my hand to clean out the rest of these brushes after we've finished with the initial step. And I'm going to take a small piece of paper towel to do so with each little brush. We're going to take a little bit of the Meyer soap on each end. You can do a half pump for each end. Wet this just a little bit, not too much. And then swirl it around so gently. You know, you don't want to hurt the ends of these brushes by going rough because then they start to fall out. But by doing this method before as gently as I can, I have found that I don't have a lot of fallout from the brushes, which is really important because we don't want to have to keep buying brushes over and over again. They're expensive. You want to rinse this, and then we'll place it on a clean, dry paper towel. You can choose to reuse the water for the rest of the brushes or refill the mason jar with new water. I'm going to refill it with new water just because that last brush was so dirty, but I am going to use the same water in this next refill for the rest of my products. We're going to move on next to cleaning this contour brush from F.A.R.A.H. And we'll do the same steps that we did for the last brush, swirling it around. This brush isn't as dirty, but we still want to make sure our brushes are clean because a dirty brush can carry a lot of bacteria that can cause us skin problems such as acne, and we don't want to have that. You can swirl it around again for as much as you like when you feel that it's got that soapy water in there and it's being cleaned. I'll repeat the same steps for the contour brush. Now what I find with the contour brush, because the bristles are a lot thicker, that this method of using the paper towel and a little bit of extra soap after we've already dipped it in the mason jar really helps to get excess product off. You can see some of that product right there. And this end of the contour brush probably has the most product because it's where I use some of the deeper colors. Now we're going to clean the Anastasia Beverly Hills spoolie. This is an eyebrow spoolie, and you can see that the spoolie is very dirty. Now this is just going to be one step in cleaning this spoolie. There's another step I'm going to show you here in just a couple of minutes to get a lot of that gunk out of the top. You can already see a lot of that gunk is coming off with the soapy water. I find this end of the spoolie is not as difficult to clean, but you still need to make sure that there isn't a lot of product in there and that it is not full of product that probably has bacteria in it that then you're putting in your eyebrow. What we want to do is dry off that spoolie end to get out any of the excess gunk, as you can see here. There is a lot of it. So we want to get out as much as we can. We're not going to get everything. We can get a good bit that'll make this next part a little bit easier on us. It's easiest for me to show you this next part on camera, and it's important for my safety because I'm going to be using a sharp to do so. You'll be taking a safety pin. You can buy these practically anywhere. And you'll unlock it as safely as you can because there is a sharp point at the end, as you can see here. And what you'll want to do, I'll move in so you can see this, is you'll want to go down like this in a motion like that. So move in closer so you can see kind of what that looks like. So we're removing all of the hair here. Whatever is left, product that has been used, and we're getting it out with that sharp pointed edge on the safety pin. You can also use a needle as well. I find that the safety pin is easiest just because you kind of have a grip, and with a needle, I mean, that can slip right out of your hands and then you poke yourself, which would not be good. So we'll continue to do this until we get everything out. And it can be painstaking, but it's honestly worth it when you see the brush at the end because it just looks really clean and really good. Now I've been working on this spoolie for a little bit off camera, and I wanted you to see the progress I was making. It's definitely coming along. It certainly looks a lot better than it did when I started. And I'm going to continue to use this for a few more minutes to get out as much excess as possible before we disinfect. We'll now be cleaning this sponge from E.l.f. I have used this to blend in foundation as well as some of my contouring. You can see some of the effects of that right here. I'm going to add 2 more pumps for this step. And we're simply going to douse it in there. You can let it soak up as much as you want. You can see that if you let it too far down, you're probably going to have trouble getting it back up. So it has a little bit of water in it. I'll show you here, just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. But what we're going to do is put 2 pumps of soap on each side. And then we're going to use our hands to just swirl it around. After we've sudsed up the beauty sponge, we're going to turn the water on and squeeze it out. And you can see some of that excess product coming off. Our goal here is to get this beauty sponge to look just like it originally did, very, very bright and very orange. Now I added 2 pumps of soap to this right before we started rinsing, but I'm gonna add just 2 more for good measure to really suds it up again, get as much of that product out of there. I find it's easier to clean the sponge with your hands. It's also just fun to like twirl it around. And I'll rinse it for just a little bit. And that sponge is looking a whole lot better than it did when we started. We're gonna pull out the alcohol and water mixture that we made earlier and disinfect our makeup tools that have just been cleaned with soap and water. We're gonna go through and on each side, you will spray. You can do 1 to 2 sprays, however much you desire. And then for these 2, this is a pair of tweezers. We're just gonna do 1, 2, a little bit on that side and let it sit. And then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna clean this top part of the eyelash curler. What we're gonna do is take a Q-tip, and before that alcohol water mixture dries, we're gonna go through and clean that part that touches the lash. And you wanna turn it around and clean that side as well. Your makeup tools will take a little bit of time to air dry. The brushes and the sponge in particular may take 1 to 2 hours, even 3 hours to fully dry out. The eyebrow spoolie, I'd say 1.5 to 2 hours is a fair assessment for when it will be ready for use. And your metal tools, such as your eyelash curler and your tweezers, will be ready pretty quickly. I would say within 15 to 20 minutes. And that's how I clean my makeup brushes and tools. Let me know how you think I did today and how you clean your tools and brushes at home. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you like what you see on this channel, subscribe and check back each week for new videos. Bye-bye!